Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Um, I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of comments about this, so I'm gonna preemptively make a video about it. So, Moonlight Ludwig's kit just got released, and this video is just gonna be me talking about it. What do I think? Is he gonna be good? Is he gonna be bad? Just some initial thoughts. I already know what his kit does, but we can just
Now that you've met me.
take a look at it again together. So, we know he's a dark mage, right? Now let's get this out of the way. He's gonna be a book slave, 1 billion%. Like, he's a mage, so he's literally gonna be a tag house slave. So no questions asked there. We can all agree on his artifact. Now, I want to talk about something that a lot of people probably not gonna agree on. I don't think ML Ludwig is gonna be that good, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Um, Number one, the entire meta right now in Epic 7 is inherently anti-cleave as well. So as you know, you have Moon Bunny, you have ML Yufine, ML Landy, Saber Adin, right? Now Ludwig can deal with Saber Adin, but he can still get 20% in, so it's not consistent. There's still RNG at play. He can't really deal with Landy because of the anti-crit. Um, he can't deal with ML Yufine because he won't be able to push up far enough. Um, because of Yufine's CR manipulation. And he also can't deal with Moon Bunny because of his extra turn mechanics. So if we go here, I think it shows right here, right? So on paper this seems really good, right? And it is good, like don't get me wrong. Like having a self push up is very, very strong that can activate off of Zeo. Having another Zeo follow up is amazing. Um but it's the problem is that the meta just doesn't favor Zeo cleave right now, or cleave in general. If this was maybe a few months ago, I'll be so hyped for ML Ludwig. Like if this was like no Candy or no ML Yufine, oh my god, I'll be so hyped for ML Yufine or ML Ludwig. I'll actually like toss him on like this sort of 150 speed, like full attack crit damage build, right? But because of all these anti-cleave heroes in the game right now, you're kind of stuck between whether you want to build him kind of fast or no speed and like full damage. Now there's drawbacks like he kind of reminds me of Commander Pavel. A lot of people drafting Commander Pavel, they're switching over to speed boots because of Abyssal Yufine, so he can actually S3. Because if he only pushes up 25% CR, then all the attack damage or the attack main stat boosts that people are running on their C Pavel that get them to like 160 speed is not going to cut far enough to be able to S3. Um, and then obviously, oh, we didn't even talk about his main counter, Bellion of obviously Bellion, right? So who do you pre-ban? If you're going to use Ludwig, who do you pre-ban? You can only pre-ban two between Bellion, ML Landy, and ML Yufine. Now he literally cannot deal with ML Yufine and Bellion at all. So on paper you're gonna try and pre-ban ML Yufine and Bellion, so he can actually push up that way and be able to use his souls. But then now you have to deal with ML Landy and Karina and stuff like that, and then Moon Bunny as well. Like let's say you use a Soulbur on ML Ludwig. Well, now everyone just has skill no. So it's like, well, how do you get rid of that skill no if it's already Ludwig's turn, right? Yes, you can pick other openers like Ran to deal with Moon Bunny. But Ran's the only opener that can deal with Moon Bunny. And if Ran gets banned, you have zero way to get rid of the skill null. Um, because a lot of the cleave openers they have their extra turn after their AoE attack. Unlike Ran. Ran's like the only exception to that. So that doesn't seem good on paper.
Readiness of the caster by 20%.
Now we've seen this video. Um,
When someone uses a
Ludwig is paired
soul
with
burn,
Politis, right?
increases
And I
combat
agree. I
readiness of the
think
caster
Politis is
by
going to be
20%.
Ludwig's best friend. Politis will be another book holder, and will be one of the counters to Ludwig that you can use to your advantage. And Politis will stop a lot of the push-up units like DJB and Ocean Breeze Lilica and stuff like that. Um, but the problem is there's now two units that cut CR, and Yufine's the other one. So you can't draft both Yufine and Politis into a Ludwig draft. Like that doesn't really make sense. Um, so you're gonna be definitely having to deal with Yufine for sure.
And penetration rate
Um,
with this skill varies.
Landy as well, as in this video
The
shows,
penetration rate increase
right?
effect can stack up to 2
And
times.
yeah, if you crit the Landy,
Skill
then
2.
great,
Once
right?
half
Like
stack up to 2 times.
I think this guy he used nahkwol, right? So nahkwol to strip all the buffs and stuff like that. But like I said, in a draft like this, no one's like in an actual RTA setting, no one's gonna draft Urban Shadow Shoe into a nahkwol, right? They're gonna be drafting Moon Bunny. Now, if this was a Moon Bunny instead of Urban Shadow Shoe, how do you get rid of all of these skill nulls that Moon Bunny's gonna do after nahkwol S3s? Uh, the other thing is I've seen people recommend doing summertime, picking summertime, right? Because summertime has the free Soulburn, and you can pair summertime with Ran. Now I think that is a pretty good draft. Um, being Politis, Zeo, Ran, Summertime, and Ludwig, ML Ludwig. I think that's probably one of his best drafts. It can deal with Moon Bunny. Uh, it can kinda deal with Karina, but it doesn't deal with um ML Landy because if she counterattacks once, then you're fucked. And it also doesn't deal with Ed. Uh, because in a cleave draft, you have to have two cores, right? You have one core that's two units that can combo off of each other, and then you have the other core. So in this case, Zeo Ludwig, and the other case, Rand Summertime. And then the last unit is usually a flex pick or like a unit that can synergize well with your team. So in this case, Politis. Now, if Zeo goes, um, or not Zeo, if Rand goes, right? If he S2, S3s into an Ed, Ludwig is just gonna get provoked, silence, or attack down, and then you lose all your value with Ludwig. Um, and like that's just because Ludwig requires two Soulburns. So you have to Soulburn Rand. Um, I guess you don't have to, but you have to S3, otherwise your Summertime's not gonna push up, and she won't be able to Soulburn herself. But because you're using an AoE attack, you're gonna be triggering stuff like Ed, triggering all these landmines like ML Landy, counterattack, and all it takes is two salvos and you're dead. Like, what's to say that she salvos off of the Ran S3, and then she salvos off of the Summertime S1, and you just blow up, and it's just like, well, like, even if you outdrafted, ML Landy is still just broken, right? Um, the other issue is, I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. This is build. So if you're gonna be pairing Ludwig with Zeo, you need to put Ludwig on speed boots then, because otherwise, how is he ever gonna take a turn? Um, I guess you can like let's say we talk about that draft again, right? Zeo ran Politis. So if you want to deal with Moon Bunny, you have to pick Ran, right? We already established that. You have to pick Ran. So that opens you up to getting countered by Edward, obviously. But even disregarding that, um, are you gonna soulburn both Zeo and Ran and then have Ludwig push up, or are you gonna build Ludwig maybe like how much does he push up again? It's like what 20? Yeah, 20. So Zeos are like usually 260, which means you need a around like 260, 270 speed unit to be able to cut the Zeo. So are you gonna make your Ludwig that fast? I don't think that makes sense, right? You wouldn't do that just to cut in front of the Zeo. But then if you don't do that, then Ludwig can't really activate off of, or he can't really follow up after Zeo. You have to pick another soul burner. Um, and it's like I don't know. it's even worse if they have ML yufine. Then your speed literally just doesn't matter, and Ludwig's never gonna be able to S3. It's just I feel like there's a lot of counters on the table for this unit. Um, like obviously I don't think you should make your ML Ludwig 270 speed. That doesn't make any sense at all. I do think he should be like uh I want to say maybe 200 so you can get the 40% CR boost. Um or like 190. I think no 190 is good because that's the speed that astromancers are with unseen observer to be able to cut rans. So 190 speed is probably optimal on Ludwig. Um but again, if you're going to do that, this is the last point I want to say. If you do this, if you run like a 190 Ludwig, right? In a hypothetical situation where you have Zeopoltis, Ran, Summertime, and Ludwig, let's say you have to soul burn twice, right? You have to soul burn twice to be able to get the push up, and let's say there's no Yufine. Let's say they ban your Ran. So now your draft is Zeo, Politis, Ludwig, and Summertime. You have no bridge after your Zeo. Zeo S3s, let's say you soul burn. Okay, Ludwig pushes up by like 20%. That's not going to be able to cut anything at 190 speed. That's probably going to put you around the same CR as like your Summertime or something. It's going to be way too slow. Like, the main problem I see is there's too many counters for Ludwig. And second, what build do you go? It's like you have to pick you have to like pick and choose between a rock and a hard place where um if you go too slow, then they can ban your second soul burner. And all of a sudden you have no activator. Um you have to pick like something that's not summertime. But summertime gives you that valuable free soul burn. But summertime can only activate off of Rand, so it's like, well, what the fuck do you do? And if you don't take Politis, well, they can take Politis and Yufine, and all of a sudden you have zero ways to push up Ludwig, and he's just gonna die. Um, I've seen a lot of videos where people are, I think, kind of overhyping this unit. I don't think he's gonna be that great. Um, it's just he doesn't he doesn't address any of the current cleave um, counters right now, right? He doesn't address ML Landy, um, Moon Bunny, Yufine. Um, you can still get RNG'd by Saber Auden. It's just, and it's even worse if they're paired together. If they're paired together, then it's like, then you actually just have no chance. And with cleave drafts being so linear, it's really easy to just stack a bunch of anti-cleave like that. That's not even counting stuff like Sage Ball that can still cut your team and stuff. So it's just a lot for cleave to succeed. I think if Ludwig had a similar passive with Zeo where he can ignore enemy combat readiness decrease effects, then I'd actually think he'd be pretty good. Because then he'll be able to deal with Yufine and Auden, and that would free up two pre-bans for you. And that way you can ban Bellion and ML Landy. And I think Ludwig will actually pop off. Um, yeah, I think if that was like a thing that he had, he'd be pretty good. Um, and he also has like zero ways to keep himself alive, right? He's literally just a sitting duck with like 8k HP and like 190 speed. So, um, yeah, I don't know. On paper, his kit looks very strong, like being able to have increased hit chance, skill, and all that stuff. I think in practicality, I think people are overhyping just a little bit, just because cleave is just not the best of spots. But yeah, I hope. Oh, I guess for the cleavers that are watching this, is he a must pull? Um, I still say yes because even though I don't think he's gonna be that good, I think just like ML Roana, there's going to be situations where ML Ludwig is gonna be your best pick on the 4 or 5 slot, where no other unit can fill in that role. So even though they're not gonna be that good, um, as a cleaver, you should try to get as many bridges and follow-ups as you can off of your openers, and ML Ludwig is no different from that. So if you're a cleaver, definitely yes, ML Ludwig is a must pull if you're a cleaver. But if you're anything else, then it's an easy skip. Like this should be the freest skip of your life. Um, he only works in cleave. He's not even like a Leica, where a Leica and Straws are good 4 or 5 because they slot into any team. ML Ludwig, you need to already have a um, team built around him where you have a bunch of souls and can actually push him up. Uh, but yeah, sorry, my voice is a little bit dying. I just want to get this quick analysis video out there. These are just my initial thoughts. Obviously, it might change as time goes on, but in this current meta, I don't think he's going to be that good. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.